It's Friday, time to punch out from work. You're off the clock, but you are on the clock on Underdog. We have a fun week 5 slate here. Lots of injuries, lots of news kind of breaking right now that, dare I say, is flipping the slate on its head. I am here with the BadgeBros, of course, Nez and John. We're going to go through the entire slate, kind of macro thoughts, ADP landscape, favorite scroll down plays. Then we will talk about some small field contest strategy. We're going to have the Deposit Kingdom contest dropping this week and a little wrinkle to the price structure. Excited to show you guys that. Then we'll hop in some 12-person drafts as well, a little dog bowl talk, and wrap up, as we always do, spicing up those pick'ems, slopping them up with our favorite picks. Let's do it. John, did you have any Kyle Pitts pick'ems last night?
I unfortunately did not. My pick'em stuff was by way of your guys' stuff. So I did well. I did well, but that was an agonizing sweat for everyone last night. Unfortunate to not get the Pitt stuff.
For on the Shipcast last night, we had this Bucky Irving number, 44.5 rushing yards. That's what we got it at. But a lot of people, when they tailed, got it at 43.5. So it was this weird dynamic. Like, we were all just tilting our faces off because Bucky was so damn close on multiple carries to get there. And then a lot of people started sending in screenshots. Like, I hit, the core hit. I was like, holy shit, we probably should have just done the giveaway if everybody else hit besides us. Like, I mean, that's the best way for it to go, I guess.
I was happy I was on the right side of history with that one. Not going to lie.
I also got the 43.5, so I was really happy.
God, you guys are.
And I was on it too, Pete. Like, when I got the notification in the Discord, I was immediately submitting that pick'em. So I don't know what exactly happened, but it was so tilting because he lost yardage, I think, right? And that's kind of how it lost.
And he had the one where he fumbled, and if he doesn't have the ball fumbled, he had an extra couple yards on that run. There were so many, and then Rachaad White gets hurt, and it's if they get the ball back in overtime, he's getting a carry on that drive. So there were just so many outs. And it is funny, the way that works is, we release it, and I think a decent amount of people are tailing, and some of the lines immediately moved in our direction. It was we had Mike Evans 58.5. Some people had to get it at 60.5, but the Bucky one moved opposite us. We put it out at 44. Everyone bet it, and they got it immediately at 43. So who knows? We're moving the lines in both directions. I think they think we're half sharp and half fish, and they can't figure it out.
I think we learn that every week with the pick'em segment of this show, that half fish, half sharp, depending how much we spice. The other one that you missed there, Pete, or not missed, but the additive there would be Godwin catch in overtime would have done wonders for us as well, because I used my gimme on the Bijan touchdown one there, so I just needed one catch for the 5-legger too. So. Man, it's been a good stretch with these pick'ems, though. That one was, painstaking for half the audience there yesterday. But, these last couple shows that we've done and you guys have done, we've been really close with a lot of them, and we've gotten a bunch home as well. So, yeah, pretty happy.
What did we have hit last week? Was it our
Atlanta one? The Atlanta Slop It Up Fest. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that one hit. So yeah, we'll get to it when we get to the pickups. We really expanded our pick'em programming last week.
We did.
Spice cores, expanded spice cores. Who knows what we'll get up to this week. All right, let's start here at the top with kind of a little slate overview. I'm definitely behind on drafting this week. Only have about 10 to 15 under my belt. What are you guys seeing kind of overall, just from what this slate is offering us, specifically in the 6-mans?
Go for it, Nezzy. I'm curious if we're seeing things differently like last week again.
So I was kind of segmenting what I was doing. I've been going at dog bowls all week long, and then doing 6-mans periodically in between. And I did a ton of 6-man volume, close to 150 drafts between Wildcat and the main slates. And I was hammering neighbors. I thought that I thought people were overreacting. We had the 10 days. That was the whole thesis. And it didn't get home. So I have a lot of neighbors to swap off of, which, isn't the worst. I mean, it's not great but it's not the worst. What I'm seeing is like running back falls off a cliff very, very quickly. And there's, some top tier wide receivers, in this top 1, 2, 5 there. After that, I mean, the slate there might as well not be ADP after pick 10.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same number. For me, it was like the 9-10, if you want to include like Lamar in there. But man, like I feel like the first 4 weeks of the season, I felt like it was like 14, 15 deep as far as interesting, like really high end plays. And it does like 9 or 10 and then whoosh, like you can do whatever. You can get John scrolling at pick 11 and I'm not going to bat an eye.
Well, this is kind of where I was going with it is I feel very similarly to you guys. I think the field feels very similarly to you guys. So I'm just kind of omitting, picks 15 through 35 and I'm getting wacky. I've done Deshaun stuff, I've done Flacco stuff, I've done Trevor Lawrence stuff. I'm all over the map this week. And I'm also playing a little bit of catch up too because I was jumping in the puck streets there and we ran a buttload of shows this week as well. So taking up a lot of time just, doing underdog stuff, but not doing actually football specific stuff this week, knowing that, Debo was going at like pick 13 before. Now he projects as like ETR's number 1 wide receiver. Knowing that Kyron was going at, Kyron and Walker for that instance, were going at like 6, 7, 8, 9 earlier. Just knowing that I'm chasing some of those like highly projectable GM combos makes me want to just scroll further and further. So it's setting up to be like a slightly, I'll still max to bomb. I'll still get my 20 dog bulls in and at least 75 BRs, but it's setting up for like a slightly lesser volume week for me with some extremely scroll the F down. My contrarian path to first is Tyrone Taylor or some bullshit.
Tyrone Tracy. The devil, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's John's quota. John's always has to botch a name every shit. It's no, that is.
I was like, you're scrolling down to JJ Taylor. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah.
We might as well just be like the breaking news show. Sorry, like Zamir White doubtful as you were talking, John, and off the tail of your Tyrone Tracy call there, Singletary doubtful as well.
Yeah, I think it's funny you were saying that, John, because I recorded my Deposit Kingdom video this morning and I was talking through like, generally like last week, one of the things I did was, Reed and Love, that was on my winning lineups, and both those guys were largely going undrafted, and I'm completely fine doing 2 scrolls with the stack. And this week I was looking at one, and I'll save it for the video, but I was wrestling with, I'm like, is 3 scrolls too much here? Like 3 guys going, and I was like, I'm looking at the opportunity cost. I'm looking around. I'm like, I think it's fine. Like, I really think this is like the week where you're not sacrificing anything in round 4. I'm looking around. I'm like, what? Okay. Like, what am I'm passing on Deontay Johnson. Like, yeah, he's a good play, but like, I don't know, man. It does seem like an awesome week. You get your top 2, 3 round guys and then build out whatever the hell you want to build out.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. I actually, makes me really love this week. Like it makes it fun to draft.
And there are JM made this point too, and I agree with him because I kind of said at the top of the show, like, based on doing these drafts, I'm like, man, the high end talent this week, it's just not quite there. And he's like, yeah, but there's some really good game environments, like game environments you could see get nutty. And when you start to go through them, and we should go through a few that you guys like, but yeah, I mean, there's like 4 to 5 game environments that I think you could leave a candle on for having a shit ton of points.
Definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of sneaky spots because, I mean, you have to kind of pick your spots. And with running back, I think really falling off a cliff after the top 4, I think you can kind of look at some game totals that are below 40 and still try to find your some good, specifically RB plays and maybe even wide receiver in that same game that I'm kind of referring to here. But yeah. How would you like to begin this analysis here?
Can I ask you guys a question before we begin said analysis?
Yeah.
Is Ken Walker your guys' RB4 this week?
I think he has. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could make a case for him over Kyron, but I think RB4 is
okay. Fine. So you would go the other way. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
He's not my RB5. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Where are you at on it, John? We toggle over to just running back too, so people can see here.
I think I kind of like James Cook more right now.
Okay. Any reason specifically, just game environment?
Yeah, game environment stuff, and then just like the red zone defense of the Giants, and then the Giants' ability to get pressure on both quarterback and run, like just O line versus D line stuff. And yeah, I'm hoping for like a Geno push tempo play through the air game. It looks less and less likely with Neighbors out, but I don't know. I'm just seeing like I don't know. Also, like short week, he just had all his touches. He's coming off the abdomen. I, I don't know. This is just like a pure bro science feel thing.
I think what you can definitely say about James Cook, and like, I've been like taking him behind Jacobs, but I consider them like the same play. And now that we have Shakir out, you can definitely make a case that James Cook like is a better play than Jacobs. I mean, James Cook has a very good role. We had a bad game last week because they were in a trailing game script, and I think people kind of think of like James Cook as like a trailing game script guy. I do think he does better in positive game scripts like most running backs do, but because he does have that pass catching profile, I think he kind of gets misconstrued there a little bit. I do like that call quite a bit. This game is interesting, John. I think you and I kind of touched on it, where this game I think could be sneaky slow, but there's just so much explosiveness on both sides that like they could accidentally end up in a shootout. But neither of these teams really want that, but it can happen.
Yeah, and it's funny, John, because it's like I've been like wanting to go to the passing game. I always kind of want to go to the Seahawks passing game, but I was almost concerned on the other side of like the Giants without Neighbors, without Singletary. Are they going to be able to move the ball? Like, even if the Seahawks defense, gets a pick six or something, it's like, how much are they going to pass? Like, Kenneth Walker could just get so many opportunities in the second half.
Yeah, definitely the injury stuff on that side. But then there's a ton of injury stuff on the Seahawks side as well that has really allowed, like, they just got the ball run down their throat by the Lions, right? And like Goff just played a full game without missing a completion. Like, that speaks volumes to me, with like basically going to be out without the same players this week in Nusu and Byron Murphy and one other linebacker there. So anyways, I was just floating the thesis. Yep. Not married to the notion.
What do you guys? I feel like the Colts are a really big hinge point on this slate. It's like Trey Sermon could be an awesome scroll down candidate, or Shane Steichen says it's a committee and it's not a good click. It could be the Anthony Richardson 6th round value is just a smash in a good game environment and he goes nuts. It could be the Flacco show feeding Pittman in downs, and it makes it tricky specifically for how you handle Downs and Pittman, right? Where it's like, if you draft Downs or Pittman, if you take Flacco, you could just be literally torching that lineup because Richardson goes, which doesn't feel good. Or it doesn't feel good to stack those guys up with Richardson. I think I'd prefer to just kind of play Richardson naked in the 6th round. And so I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty right now that makes it hard for me to build Colt stuff in a super logical way.
Yeah, and it's weird because I think everybody wants to build Colt stuff. I'll say a couple things on the Sermon one. I was quite outspoken about Cam Akers being a bad play the last 2 weeks. I like the Sermon spot a lot more because of the O-line, D-line mismatch stuff and the fact that he outsnapped Goodson 17-1 after JT was out last game. So despite the coach speak of potential committee, hot hand, whatever, I kind of like that. But I definitely like it. I definitely like this game more with Flacco. So, which is weird to say. So at least he was taking first team reps in practice today, which kind of indicates maybe they're trending towards that. Yeah, I totally agree with you on like game environment here. And I either want naked Richardson or I want like a stack with Flacco most likely, but Sermon in the 12s feels fine. And Sermon as a scroll EF down feels fine, but not as great, I would say. Evergreen reminder though, like if we do happen to get Richardson and you do take Flacco in the 12s, because it's a 1 p.m. game, as long as Joe doesn't play one snap, you will get a swap.
Yeah.
You just have to make sure that that game completes. An out tag comes down on him before the 125s or 425s starts. So it's not as bad as some situations we've had in the past where the game's in the late window.
That's a good shout out. Just the available pool of swaps. And I assume most people would want to just pivot directly to Flacco anyways, but you would have some other options as well. It wouldn't have to just be Flacco.
Yeah, I meant it more as if you draft Flacco now, Richardson plays the entirety of the game. You can still get a swap for Flacco.
You can?
Yeah. So you just have to hope that the out tag, he's treated as like an inactive if a quarterback plays 0 snaps in a ball game. Because we had this scenario last year with the Miami quarterbacks the first week that Tua was hurt on a primetime Palooza slate where we didn't know which quarterback was going to start. So people were drafting both, but it was the early game of the window. So as long as that game closes, like it literally, like the game literally has to end. Underdog has to mark them out, and then they have to go. But yeah, there's outs. There's a little more outs than usual.
Wow,
it's tricky.
Yeah.
I remember that scenario happening, and then and I just never wanted to be in that scenario.
No, you don't want to be that guy.
Obviously,
that's a weird sweat right there.
Yeah. One thing I think is like kind of interesting with this is like, the Richardson thing. He's not being held out because like the medical staff thinks that he shouldn't play. It's a pain tolerance thing right now. Like he has a hip pointer, so you'd obviously want him taking snaps. That would be way more bullish. But like if he's a little sore and doesn't want to practice, they're not just going to like not do reps at quarterback. Like obviously Flacco's the backup. He's naturally going to take those reps. It's a very tricky situation. I don't think I would consider Richardson doubtful until they tell us. And until then, man, I'm just going to take him in the 6th round. And it's unfortunate if you can't do that in I'm speaking like dog bowls here specifically. If you do him in the 6th round, because he does last that long, and he's naked, then you are kind of like shit out of luck, sort of, where like you can't logically swap him. Like, yeah, you can do naked Flacco, I guess, but you're not like you said, John, you are rooting for Flacco to start if you're drafting Pittman and specifically Downs. I think not that those guys can't hit with Richardson. It's pretty obvious that they have better outcomes with Flacco at this point.
Let's talk about tight end a little bit because the tried and true landscape here is it's a mess. We have a ton of Q tags. We have a couple of guys that are going still at the top. George Kittle, but have we gotten a practice report on him today? He was DMP yesterday.
I'll check right now, but I have not seen it yet.
I have not got anything through. It must be those West Coasters. They practice later time zone. They're just chilling
still
right
sleeping like me, man.
Trey McBride's good to go. Full practice. The other Q tag. So David Njoku, I'm getting the vibes he's trending in the right direction. I think he's gonna go. Evan Ingram sounds like a true game time decision, but definitely some Q tags you can play this week. And I mean, if there's one position to fuck around and find out, it's tight end, because what you're swapping to or what you're missing out on, if these guys don't go, it's basically nothing.
Yep. Yeah. Big time. Have your cake and eat it too type of position. We saw it last week with Taysom, where like it could have been an even bigger Taysom day. But like you're not really missing out on much if you don't get those ceiling games. So yeah, I think Ingram is really interesting because the spot is amazing if he does play. I think he's really been missed in the offense right now. It would be kind of wild if like Ingram came back and all of a sudden we got our first 20-point Trevor Lawrence game. Like, oh wow, Ingram is actually the engine to this offense. But Strange has like held his own to the point where if you take a lot of Ingram and you need a swap, Strange is an excellent swap in this game. I think it's a lot of people's favorite game. I know there's a little bit of rain in the forecast, but I think we all should know by now to not really care about like a Florida, scattered shower, but people are going to overreact.
There was seems like in the Baker game last week too.
Oh yeah. And how did that go? So I think tight end is honestly like kind of fun in that regard, where we have these discounts on Njoku in just an amazing spot against the Commanders, who, I mean, I still think the Commanders are a team to attack, but like I'm kind of in the back of my head wondering if like maybe Dan Quinn makes them a little bit more respectable and kind of lowers the ceiling on opposing passing attacks as a defensive coach. But I'm going to take Njoku and wait until we proven otherwise. But this won't be a great like true test of that, because they stop the Commander or the Browns doesn't necessarily make them a juggernaut moving forward. But I'm still like really caught up in what the hell happened with the Arizona Cardinals last week and why they didn't go off on this team. So it is like a little interesting. Like I'm very bullish on the Browns. Also, like, really wondering if there's something here to the Commanders that we're not seeing.
Trey McBride, tight end 1 with a bullet, pick 8 on this slate. No Fred.
I have a hard time disagreeing with that. Yeah, I'm surprised he isn't going a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Arizona's been good against the tight end, like plus like
San
I mean
Fran.
this for no. Arizona's been good against the tight end, as in like
gotcha.
talk about the Kittle stuff, plus all the DNPs, plus the ability to spread the ball around so much. Purdy looking downfield for stuff. I mean, it just they've held Arizona's held Laporta, Kincaid, all these guys to like less than 40 yards here, and they've played like some decent guys. Plus, you get banged up Kittle on a team that spreads the ball. Arizona looked inept on offense without Trey McBride last week. Trey McBride comes back. He's had 6+ targets in every single game. Trey McBride is an absolute dog. I'm getting consolidated.
Right, and also with the San Francisco injury report, we have to keep an eye on Fred Warner. If he's not playing, he got ruled out.
I think he's out already.
Oh wow,
yeah.
I was
really
treating
big
it.
News.
Yeah, that was what JM like poo-pooed the McBride stuff almost exclusively because of Warner.
Not okay. Sorry, not out yet. Okay. Not officially out, but DNP.
All right.
Yeah, that's not out. So you gotta keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
because that'll be that's big. That's a big deal.
I was overreading into something else.
Yeah, it's obviously not trending well. But if he's not out, like we're gonna see some mega McBride steam. So I think now is the time to get on that.
Yeah. One other tight end we should mention who I think we're going to see steam on even more is Tucker Kraft. So Musgrave didn't practice again today with an ankle injury. Everyone already loves this game environment. We've seen Wicks, really steam up the board. Romeo Doubs misses practice for a second straight day. It's not injury related. It's a personal matter. Although still kind of concerning though to keep missing. It seems like something not great, but I think the Tucker Kraft steam will be big. I don't know if he can flip Bowers in ADP, but these love with two of like Reed, Wicks, and Kraft stacks are going to be like very popular in every draft room.
Yeah, especially in the 6-mans, because basically Wicks, Reed, and Love, and I'd say like 80% of the time Tucker Kraft goes as well. So it's going to be like ownership's going to funnel in like a very concentrated manner with those builds. So like scrolling to Dobbs isn't like the worst play in the world, but obviously he might miss as well kind of deal. But that's another reason as to why I'm going the McBride route, because you're getting leverage with the Kyler stuff too, as Kyler being like QB8.
Yeah. And let's talk about court. We've kind of hit on some of the, let's talk, more some of the gems now a little bit here. It is wild, right? To get quarterbacks of Joe Burrow and Kyler Murray's caliber in the scroll the F down territory. Like this doesn't happen that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, my take right now is that Dog Bowl winners are Joe Burrow stacks. Like almost, I'm not going to say no question, but like I'm very confident that the winner right now will be a Joe Burrow stack. It's just a matter of like how it's done, because I do think getting running back early is important in the Dog Bowls. But Joe Burrow is a 6th-round pick in the Dog Bowls. Like he's at home in a projected shootout. I mean, it's a prime slate to get Joe Burrow. And I mean, even if you don't do it with Chase, obviously you have T. Higgins to do that with, and ascending rookie who I love, Eric All. So
show us the bags, coward. Show us the bags.
Everybody's got to show up.
No, do you know what you just did though, Nez? You did what happened last week where you're like, Michael Wilson's available in the 6th round of every Dog Bowl, and then we're gonna hop in one in 40 minutes, and he's gonna go in the 4th round. I'm gonna be
he's
like, Nez, you lied to
rounder. Yeah, he's a 4th rounder. My edge. Oh no, but it seems like a great spot.
But yeah, I think it's an awesome scroll down week pretty much everywhere. Like I can give you probably 3 to 4 at like every position that are pretty strong. Obviously, Kyler and Burrow, we mentioned Richardson. If he doesn't go, I think anytime you are just tacking on a quarterback with a wide receiver that you took earlier, like whether you're doing stuff with Lawrence, you mentioned the Watson, if you're doing stuff with Amari, like there's just so many angles you can go this week.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I love it. Go ahead, John.
No. I'm just agreeing with you guys that like some of these game environment skinny stacks at the back end. I'm not trying to find last week's Jordan Love. We already found last week's Jordan Love. I'm trying to find this week's Jordan Love. You know what I mean? Where it's like if everyone in the six mans is going to do Jordan Love over and over again because we saw it last week, because the average depth of target, because of their ability to move the ball. Yes, it's a great spot. It's a great spot. Crane cited some really interesting insight for that game environment. He likes it as his favorite game of the week as well, but just cited the fact that the Rams, when they blitz, have been breaking down in coverage in a big way. So they've actually given up more passing opportunities when they blitz. So interesting to see if McVay picks up on some of those trends and maybe they stop blitzing as much. I just found that a really interesting nugget that he pointed out in the walkthrough.
Yeah. Do you, Nez, who are some of your favorite running back scrolls, let's say like after Brian Robinson, ADP of 33 territory?
Ooh, I mean, there's not very many, right? But right now, what like I'm kind of doing is thinking more and more about the Broncos and Javonte Williams. Um, the Broncos, I just don't think are as bad as I thought and as bad as people think. They've held their own in like most of their games, and like obviously won 2 games, one against the Bucs. So I think I think it's a good team. That we just saw them lose yesterday. And this Vegas team, man, banged up. They're no Devontae Adams. I think that they're just going to be able to really have their way with this team. They're at home. Javonte Williams, 16 carries last week, I believe. Very much into him this week, and like a strong positive game script where maybe they get some turnovers as well to really help him out. He's been someone that like when I'm like SOL at running back late in these drafts, I take some Javonte. And honestly, it feels good. Like I'll take him over Ramondre with this Gibson news like every day of the week. Trey Sermon, potential RB by committee. I don't know that I believe that, but I still prefer Javonte in this spot here. It feels bad. We have not seen the ceiling game yet from Javonte, but I think Peyton, last season we saw Sean Payton got off to a horrible start with that Dolphins game. He kind of like figured some shit out as the season went along. So maybe there's a chance that they also have that same thing happen this season where they start to improve a little bit and beat some teams that they should beat. They definitely should beat the Raiders here. And I think if they do, Javonte is a big part of it.
Yeah, I agree. I like this little stretch here. Jerome Ford, Javonte, Trey Sermon is kind of a little pocket. I like, and I do think it's completely fair to question the ceiling for all of these guys, but I do think there's ways to building, if you are basically playing around a game environment, say you do like a Lamar, Zay, and Higgins or whatever. And it's just like you're building out a quarterback with 3 pass catchers and you're just taking your last pick as one of these running backs. And it's like you nail the game environment and maybe you only need 18, from your running back. You don't need like the 25 because I don't know, just looking at this slate, it feels like they're not going to be many 20+ point performances at the running back position.
Doesn't seem like it, right? And I mean, I know we're looking at the Brian Robinson line here, but these guys go really late. All of these guys pretty much. DeAndre Swift, man, we just saw him have a good game. And this is off of that Roshan Johnson quote where, hey, he's going to get a bigger role and like nothing changed. Mm-hmm. Now he has a big game and he's going up against the Panthers at home. I think there's multiple ways for him to get home, but the Panthers just seem to be like a really smash spot for all running backs. I don't think that they're going to really change their philosophy unless they get pushed. I think DeAndre Swift might be, it feels bad. Nobody wants to believe what we saw last week. But the fact of the matter is that this is a fantastic spot for Swift. And, I think you just need to follow the usage that we just saw in the matchup and take some DeAndre Swift in BRs. I mean, what I can't tell. I'm pretty sure he's going undrafted in a lot of BRs. I know I'm thinking about clicking him.
I'm seeing like on the Draft Caddy projected ownership around 27%.
That makes sense.
Ownership. Yeah. I think that's especially how they use him, right? Because there's obviously risk of ruin with DeAndre Swift always, but like they play him in like a hot hand situation. And when he's hot, like he was last week, they just kept letting it ride. So yeah, I like that. Let's do a couple wide receiver.
You guys are missing the best scrolls.
Oh, good. All right, John, hit us.
Yeah, sorry, king of the scrolls.
All right, Sharbs, not that bad. and downgrade for Walker to LP's short week. I'm going to the Sharps well in the 12th.
Wow.
Man. Yeah.
Well,
even
I
if
think
even if Ken is in, even if Ken
Yeah,
Walker's
I'm
in,
fine with it. Yeah, given
in
the
the
landscape
six
of it,
or just is this a 12-man play?
this is a 12-man take.
Okay, all right. That's more justifiable to me.
I already did the Tracy stuff in the 12s. I don't hate it. Mostert's probably going to be limited in his role or whatever, but like that's a name down there that's not terrible that could have some impact. I'll go back to the Zach Mosswell. Everybody was ready to pronounce Rashad White dead last night prior to the game and the flippening and blah blah blah. I'll just treat Zach Moss like he was Rashad White last night and go back to it. And I think he can put up a viable score / get some red zone opportunities in the highest total game on the slate there.
I was going to ask what's going on with the Bengals running backs in the 12-person.
Nobody
touches them.
Yeah, they don't know what to do, so they don't really draft them.
Exactly.
That seems definitely like a bit of a mistake. Like even to your point, Nez, about the Burrow stuff, I think tossing in one of the running backs, like if you're just playing that game environment, I mean, if that game shoots out, one of those running backs is going to get home.
Yeah,
definitely.
Other side of the ball game that Nez was talking about, Alexander Mattison expanded role. If we think that's the slop it up fest of the week and there's actually points scored in that endeavor, Alexander Mattison has looked pretty good. I think he could do worse.
Yeah, the volume will be there. Denver's just been so good on defense. But yeah, I could see that just from the volume perspective.
Cam Akers looks better this week than the last 2 weeks. I will say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think these are probably more 12. Just having to, share a decent amount of work with some backfield mates. But yeah.
What about kind of fun too?
Eckler is fun.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say people are really excited about Jerome Ford. I've noticed as well. I got to think about that some more. I have 0 Jerome Ford at the moment. But no Chubb. The role has been awesome for Ford. I just don't know that this is like the matchup for it, but I gotta think about that some more.
It's just been I was talking about it with JM a bit too, where it's like the ceiling has not been there.
I agree.
He's still getting yanked at the goal line, which really sucks. So yeah, I've been thinking about that play a lot. I'm more leaning to going to the Cleveland passing game right now, but I'm like you. I need to give him a harder look and think that through.
Yeah. When so many people that you trust are like shouting about it, I'm like, all right, I'll think about it.
One interesting pick'em for later that I saw earlier. I don't know if it's still up. I'll check right now.
Don't blow our cover before we build it.
Let me see if it's still there. It's not there anymore. They just got touchdown stuff for Akers
because they announced what's his name? It's questionable.
Yes,
Dame Pierce.
All right, let's talk a few wide receiver scrolls, and then we will hop in a draft here.
Yeah, wide receiver, man, is really, really wild this week. I mean, we're looking down at the scroll range, but I mean, this is another one where it's just like a huge cliff. I'm trying to pull up the ADP to describe the line. It's like after Debo for me. I know Marvin Harrison, wide receiver 6 in ADP. Not a lot of Marvin Harrison for me at the moment, just because of like what I prefer to do, like when he's at the top of the queue for me. But you can scroll like basically after Harrison and Diggs. I mean, I scroll at Harrison, but right after that, man, it's wide ass open. It's crazy. I mean, I think one of my favorite scroll downs at the moment, just based on ADP and how they're ranked, is Christian Kirk, wide receiver 19. Yep. No reason to think that he can't outperform Brian Thomas. I love Brian Thomas. I think Brian Thomas is the truth. Spoiler alert, I would like to put him in a pick'em later, but Christian Kirk is like back. And we did not see that early in the season. We're still anchored to this. Trevor Lawrence looks like shit. Totally hear you. But the Colts is a great spot. And Kirk has just been one of Lawrence's favorite targets for, seasons now. This, I think, is just like one of the best scrolls that you can get to. I take Kirk as soon as Brian Thomas is off the board, honestly. Like him and Ayuk are like kind of like I gotta think about that.
It's a really
You're gonna like
good.
my video again today, Nez, because
Yeah.
Christian Kirk makes an appearance.
Sorry for rubbing your
I love it.
viewers.
No, it's I think it's one of those classic spots, right, where Brian Thomas is a great play, but you go and ETR have them projected like within 0.01 points, and one of them is getting drafted like twice as much. And I don't think just because he's not going to get pulled up by any quarterback stuff, like people don't want to stack Lawrence and Kirk. So
No.
it'll be more one-off. But because of that, you're not going to have him like be a steam candidate either. Because you're not going to get that quarterback ownership dragging it.
Yeah, I agree.
John, what do you like down here? I'm sure you got some fun stuff for us.
Yeah, I mean, I like the cold stuff if we get Flacco. So I like Pittman and Downs, Cover Boyd Downs. There, to be honest, like I kind of like the running back scrolls a little bit more than the wide receiver scrolls this week, which is a gross contrarian thing to say. So my builds have been funneling almost backwards to what everybody else is doing, but it's a big 2-2-2 week for me, or 1-2-2-1 week for me. I obviously like the JSN and Lockett stuff if I'm going to the passing side of that equation there. Getting Dell back in that game environment when the other two go feels okay. Jacoby Myers fell flat on his face last week, but they move him around enough to maybe matter with the absence of Adams. Not concerned about the Surtain treatment stuff because they move him around so much. Jordan Whittington, poor man's Cooper Cup role last week. One of the highest total games and fastest games on the slate. Why can't he be the piece you need that gets home for the Rams side of that equation when every single person on the planet is building the Packers game through like Kyron plus Packers pieces or Josh Jacobs plus Packers pieces? Why can't we just go to the Whittington route and he finds the end zone twice? But I understand they're kind of pushing that volume in projections towards Colby Parkinson, but why not Whittington?
Yeah, 30% target share last week. I mean, we kind of mentioned him before, but assuming Romeo Doubs can go, I mean, he's the one piece on Green Bay that isn't getting drafted. And he's also like the exact kind of guy who could just like crater everybody's production. Like we know Doubs can pop up for that one or two random game where he gets a couple touchdowns. They like him in the red zone. So man, if you want to crater all the Green Bay chalk, Doubs is that lever to pull.
Absolutely.
Anything else for you, Nez, before we hop in the Deposit Kingdom tournament?
Yeah. Two things for me here. I do like Lockett. After been waiting on his like big game, almost had it last week. I think Cortland Sutton is definitely like worthy of being talked about. John and I we tried to keep it brief on Tuesday and just like glossed over this game. Cortland Sutton has a really strong role in this offense. I mean, obviously, these other pass catchers for Denver have just been, to not mince words, useless. And per the Fantasy Life utilization score, Cortland Sutton keeps grading out really well, and you don't really need the utilization score to tell you that 156 air yards is good, which is what he had last week, and 107 the week before, and 143 in week one. So like, I think we're going to see a smash Cortland Sutton week, like sooner than later. Maybe not this game with a lower total, but I think it's definitely possible, right? I think this offense is concentrating in a really big way. So Cortland Sutton definitely is I think a good pick. I really like Xavier Legette this week against the Bears. I think the secondary is where you beat the Bears, and we have a 41 total on this game. I think the error bars on this are pretty wide, where if Andy Dalton, and they are going to have to sling it, and I think Andy Dalton slinging this shit against the Bears, with the usage Deontay getting is unbelievable, and Legette is a really good role as well, and I think he's a good player. I'm really excited about getting some Xavier Legette in here, just riding dollar bill, man. I don't know if you guys saw him about his touchdown celebration, riding dollar bill, his horse. Yeah. So I think that they can throw on the Bears. Sorry, Crutches, you're right. It's the opposite. So I do like Chuba too, but I think that you're like matchup aside, man, just the way that the Panthers are playing right now, I'm willing to kind of bet against a matchup that does appear to be poor, just based on the way that the Panthers are playing right now.
Cool.
Yeah, I think those are. Oh, go ahead.
No, does anybody like Wandell or Juwan Jennings? Juwan Jennings is kind of like the same thesis as Dobbs, but
yeah,
or the Niners chalk.
I think I would prefer Jennings just in that, like, I think he could get there on touchdowns. They really like him in the red zone. And also, if Kittle isn't going or is really limited, that's a big boost for Jennings. The Wandell stuff, I mean, it's really hard for him to beat the PPR merchant allegations here. And it's just like, what are his odds for a touchdown? I think I'd rather kind of hunt touchdowns with like a T. Higgins, a Dobbs, a Jennings, a Sutton, more than Wandell. But maybe that's just not following the targets enough.
You're gonna be there.
I'll jump over, but I want to ask you guys, any Bears pass catchers? Because basically only DJ Moore gets drafted.
I'm beaten down. I've been putting Bears pass catchers in the Jebs every single week, and I think I'm throwing in the towel this week.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think they're. Yeah, it just seems like they're just not running like the type of route trees where we can really bank on them getting home. But if this game does shoot out, I think it's up to the Panthers to force this. So I think you need Panthers pieces if you're going to do Bears stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's hop over here. The DK League, big announcement. We have doubled the first place prize. We got 2K up top this week. It's been 1K. I got in the lab with Hope on this. So John, maybe you can pull up that structure there real quick. So we're up to 1,656 entries, which is about 600 more than last week. We've put more of the prize pool up top, kind of scraped off some of the min cash stuff here. So pretty fun to get a 2K first place prize here for us Deposit Kingdom peeps.
Love it. Super fun tournament, super fun structure. I'm laughing at our guy, Mark Zorner, in the chat here because he's been crushing this contest.
Yeah, exactly. We had to pull up the ladder after you won here.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of the chat, the Pound gifted out a nice BadgeBros membership to somebody in the chat there as well. So shout out to the Pound. Go check him out. We got the 101 here. Friends and family draft, gentlemen. Who's the 101 for you guys this week?
I find it hard to not be Jordan Mason.
I think it's Mason. I wish I had. I've been really wanting to just be like it should be Nico. I don't know if I have the courage to get there on that take.
I think in 6 persons you can, but it is hard. It is really hard to not take Jordan Mason.
And it's just such a good spot. And we've now seen, like, at first I thought there was a little concern of just not having like the massive role where he was catching the passes. And now I just feel like we've seen them in a few different game environments, and it's clear they fully trust him. He is the entire running game. And so I just don't have any questions about Jordan Mason anymore.
Yeah. None whatsoever.
How far we've come, gentlemen.
Oh.
Yeah.
From paying the rake in July to winning leagues.
I mean, there's like not a running back that comes like very close to his projection. I mean, he's like 10 yards greater than Henry and Kyron. Wow. Just as, low of a multiplier to score. It's like 0.76 to score. It's his projections look incredible. It's really hard to not take him, though. I would not like, bat an eye if somebody wanted to say, oh, maybe Kyron or Henry have higher ceilings. Like maybe.
Yeah.
I could maybe like hear that out, but he's still my 101.
Yep. I agree with you. 7.5 point favorites at home there versus a team that's look inept makes a lot of sense. But I will remind everybody, when was his down week, Nezzy?
Young Mason?
Yeah. When was his down week?
You're going to have to remind me.
The one without George Kittle. And guess who might not be playing football this week as an inline blocker? The best blocking tight end in football outside of Mark Andrews. Now, I'd put my hat in the ring for Trey McBride and then let you guys do the rest.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, definitely good with McBride. I also I like the I don't mind the Lamar stuff. I don't mind Likely. I like Zay. So I don't mind taking Lamar here unless you have something else you really like.
No, I think Lamar is a good pick, and Zay is very easy to get with Lamar here. So it kind of we can kind of cross off one of our picks here, which is nice because I mean it's really hard to make decisions on this slate because there's so much ambiguity.
Yeah, I think James Cook would have been a fine click there as well if you just want to be done at running back.
My favorite place to scroll on this slate is quarterback right now, just given the options available like a bit deeper. So I will be fading elite quarterbacks in a decent way this week. So Lamar or Josh Allen could definitely kill me. So could Jaden Daniels, but I will be doing kind of like James Cook there, and then scrolling for like Kyler with my McBride stuff, or scrolling for like a back stack of Lawrence and someone, or Flacco and someone, or
I do think it's probably a good note, especially if you're drafting off of any kind of ranks, because we kind of all feel that same thing, right? At pick 9 or 10, there's going to be a tendency to probably condense your bets too much with those guys you're selecting at 10, 11, 12, and really forcing, whether that's you want to randomize, whether you have a basket of players, whether you have, you just take a guy that you're scroll down right there anyways, just to like force you into that build. But I think it's probably a good note because you could find yourself in that spot. It could be James Cook. It could be Lamar. It could be Diggs, where you're like, why did I have 35% of this guy? And it was like, because he looked like the slightly best option after the tier gap there. So I think that's something to be conscious of over the rest of the weekend with drafting.
Yeah, for sure. We didn't talk about the Miami stuff. Might be a good macro conversation, but let's make our picks first here. What catches your guys' eyes after Biff goes?
I think we lock up Zay.
Yeah, I'm cool with doing it now.
You guys think it's Zay bounce back in this spot?
Yeah, with the Lamar pick, I mean, yeah, it's locked in.
And then in this size contest, I don't think I'm going to have a ton of him, but same thing on like the Kittle thesis with Jawan. Like I wouldn't mind doing a Mason Ayuk pairing on this team.
Yeah.
But otherwise I'm open for whatever.
I like Ayuk. I love Deontay, but I like Ayuk again in this matchup. I didn't get a chance to talk about Purdy when we were going through quarterbacks because we were kind of more focused on like the scrolls. But like I think Purdy is going to be a priority for me in the rest of my 6-mans, and definitely as much as I can in the 12-mans. I was reading an Athletic article. I forget who wrote this, but I followed him on Twitter, and he cited a Robert Mays tweet that he had from Next Gen Stats, which is that Purdy right now ranks 2nd in the NFL in air yards per attempt and percentages of throws into tight windows. Dead last in expected completion percentage, but it's the YOLO Brock era is how he describes it. And I think it's really interesting that they are just kind of letting him pass like this and play like this. And to me, that just equals like gigantic Ayuk week at some point. It's coming. Also of note, like for whatever it's worth, one of the last teams in play action as well. So just kind of like letting him just dissect defenses and just chuck it. This seems like a prime spot for, I love Debo. I'm going to have a ton of Debo, but I really think that if, even if Kittle plays, I think this seems like a really, really good week to try to get in on Ayuk and wait for the big Ayuk game is coming. This feels like it might be it.
Brock, Debo, Ayuk, double, bring it back with Trey McBride, ship all the money.
Who says no? Who says no? Put up 40 on this Arizona team.
Yeah.
Can you scroll the board here, John?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does that get it up?
Yeah, close. We can go back. What do we got? One more pick?
Yes, sir.
All right. Who's going to be the scroll?
Copper taking dubs. He's showing off for the stream.
Yeah, a little double stack. That's Copper's MO. That's how he took down the back-to-back BadgeBros brawls with the double scroll with tight end and a pass catcher in it.
Yeah, man.
It's interesting that you guys are. Yeah, it's interesting. So it brings up the Miami question because this keeps happening over and over again. You said you like Swift as a scroll there. There's your Kirk pick as well.
Yeah. Kirk has been damn near automatic for me.
Who do you guys like?
Let's do Kirk.
All right.
What if, man, yeah. It's wild how fast life comes at you taking Christian Kirk over Devon Achane.
Right?
The Miami stuff is tough, right? Because the Patriots are not a good football team. But man, they just look so inept without Tua that and I just don't think the Patriots are that bad on defense, despite them being a bad team, that I want to do that. But like, I have like no Tyreek Hill this week. That feels really scary.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of that.
I'm gonna be similar. It was interesting. Like we actually inadvertently we mentioned a lot of the wide receivers that were on the By Leone list this week. Cortland Sutton, Amari, Ayuk was one. Tyreek Hill was another one, still relative to his usage. And it's still like not hard. Like you watch that game the other night where Tyler Huntley just barely overthrows him on what would have been a 75-yard TD. So like that guy can get there quick. He can bury you quick. But yeah, it is that game environment and that whole situation just does not seem fun.
Yeah.
Any other kind of small field strategy notes for you guys? I do think it's like a really good double stack week. We mentioned the Burrow stuff. You can do the Jordan Love stuff. I mean, you can go down the road. Like there's a ton, like if you get Flacco, Pittman and Downs who have just consolidated all the targets, there's all kinds of good double stack angles for these small tournaments.
Yeah, I really like that shout. I'm one of the quarterbacks I wouldn't stack or double stack would be the one that we just stacked in that contest right there. I would have liked our team better with Purdy after doing the Ayuk and Mason. I won't be doing very much Lamar Flowers for what it's worth.
I think single stacking is fine, but like no doubles.
Yeah.
And we just doubles, so it's fine.
I think in that size contest, for sure, I would have zero problem with Purdy, Mason, Ayuk. I guess that could certainly get there if they drop 35. Why can you expand on why you don't like Lamar and Zay? Vibes, bro.
Vibes, bro. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have a good answer to that question.
All right, then I'll ignore you.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, you guys want to do a dog bowl draft here?
Yeah, these are filling fast. So are we ready? We're going.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, we need 3.
2.
Because I have. Did you get in, John?
Yeah, he's hosting.
All right. Ooh, Influencer 101 off the rip. My first dog bowl of the week.
This is the spot to be. I'm petitioning for Numi to give 100% rake back for the people in the 11-12 spot because, like, God Almighty, like I did.
You said that every week, though. Do we know what slots have been winning?
Last week it was the late slots because it was the Jordan Mason Nico combos that you needed.
Open your third eye, Nezzy.
Let me check. Let me double check what won last week. But like I've been doing crazy shit at the 112, 111 just because it's dire. I promise. Let me see what won. Pick 5 for Cowboys. Pick 11. Pick 11 for Magikarp, but Jordan Mason fell there. That was bad by the field. And another late one. Pick 10 for Mathology. So
yeah.
Oh,
the field is back now. The field is understanding that Jordan Mason is him, and you just don't fade him.
All right. I love Nick giving me the expert analysis comment. Dude, I just tell you guys what I'm playing. I'm not out here. I'm not giving you no Leone stats. I'm not kidding.
This is the Lamar. I asked you why you shout on it, and you literally couldn't say anything. Nothing. Like you couldn't even muster like, oh, Zay hasn't really showed a ceiling. Like there was nothing. You literally were just like, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Not for me.
They're trading for Adams for a reason.
Yes, I've done back-to-back shows, and I the chat has been screaming at me to mention that Devontae posted a photo of Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
He followed it up. He followed it up with a complete it's not a Ravens thing. It was a quote. It was a quote. So it's actually not for the Ravens.
Yeah.
The ETR wanted to take Debo there. I'm gonna take DK.
Wow. Oh no, well Debo is off the board for you.
Yeah. Oh, he just went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Green Debo and Jaden Reed, but
Yeah.
it's at this pick where it's like, I'm probably gonna lose RB here, so it's like it's tough. Sorry, my dog is trying to dig a hole in this carpet. Sorry, we're out of here anyways. We don't need the security deposit.
So catch me up. Get me some other kind of what else has been going on in the Dog Bowl drafts. You mentioned it sounds like quarterbacks just going super late on the hole again.
Yeah, they're slowly pushing up, but like Purdy used to be a 6th-round pick quite a bit. Not anymore.
Yeah, the 5th round is when you start to see all purple at the top, and it's usually QB 6 through QB 10. That's what I was seeing this morning. I got Kyler doubles going in 2 of those first drafts there, where I do like the Marv McBride stuff on the right hand side of the board, and then I get Kyler in the 5th, which just feels like insane.
And what's been going on with the tight ends? Are those just super late too, or?
There's sometimes you'll see like a mini run with like the McBride to Bowers tier where people like think that they matter this week, which like, more power to you. I'm waiting quite a bit on tight end. That's been my MO. I don't think I have much of any of the top end tight ends. Definitely a ton of Kraft. Kraft is like my highest drafted tight end in these dog bowls. I'm at like 53. This will be 54 for me, I believe. So a ton of Kraft because I've been also jamming Love, but I think I'm chilling on Jordan Love right now just because I'm like, man, like I think Joe Burrow and Jordan Love are probably going to have very similar outputs this week, and one costs way less draft capital than the other.
What is Love, like a 3rd-round pick in most of these?
Second.
Okay.
Like it's been hard for me to get Wicks and Jordan Love
because it's just the redrafters just taking him in the 2nd, basically. Okay.
Copper did the homework for us there. Picks 1 through 3 have only given us 1 dog bowl seat through 4 weeks.
Interesting.
Open your third eye, nerds.
Let's go. That data's going to change after I just drew the
101. Talk your shit, Pete.
The projection models. Don't do it, Nez. I'll kick you in the dick from the other side of the world.
Oh, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about. You probably you want McGronk.
I'm not doing it.
No, I've been doing a lot of Deontay. I'm gonna continue to take Deontay. 2 weeks in a row of just like godly usage, man. It's pretty surreal.
Deontay's a good pick. I'm just laughing because Nez literally just said he's like, more power to the people wanting to take tight ends early. That John's like, please don't take him. He's like, he just told you. More power to you, John.
Context clues.
Wow, ETN at 18. Now
that's how bad running back gets, right? Because it's after ETN, the top running back is Chuba, then Achan, and then Connor. It's bad fast.
Did Tank miss practice today?
He's got a green tag.
Okay, he's gonna play.
Yeah. He said he's good to go.
Okay, there you go. That makes the ETN pick a little less desirable. Like we talked about how they were using both last week. Obviously, ETN banged up the shoulder, and that's what held him out for a little bit of that game. But after he put his helmet on to go back in, they just kept rolling with Tank. So, and they just don't like him.
Eye test looks like Tank is the better back anyways. So, I mean,
I tend to agree, Ness.
It's interesting, right? I mean, it's tough because like that projection clearly is not factoring in that like I think Tank is carving out a role, but if he doesn't, obviously ETN is a great pick.
All right, let's see here. I'm just going to build out the same team we built in the Deposit Kingdom League. I'm going to take Brandon Ayuk here. Nez just sold me that he's going to drop 40 points this week.
Yes, it's happening.
And we'll also go with another buy low guy. We were talking about Amari in this spot against Washington.
Amari feels like such a good pick.
Dude, Amari would have had 2 70-yard touchdowns added to his resume right now if he catches the first one in week 2 and if the holding call doesn't call one back last week. And then where's he going? When those expected things turn into actual points.
I don't know like the pressure rates for Washington against opposing QBs, but I think that's going to be like the big factor. Deshaun Watson holds the ball so much, and if they can get to him and sack him, then that's going to be, his downfall this week. But I just can't get over the way that the Commanders played defense against the Bengals, and if they're going to leave single coverage for Amari Cooper, more often than not in this game, I think we've seen Watson be able to connect with Cooper deep. Like it just really, it really feels like a big time Amari game. We might be like laughing at, and no offense to the 5-hole, like we're taking Wicks over Amari Cooper in against the Commanders. Like it might just need to be, like don't overthink it.
Yeah, the Wicks team is wild. And I get it too. Like I was even talking to JM, and JM's like, the field's going to be way more into Wicks than they should be, but I still like it. Like it's just one of those spots where it's like,
yeah, I mean, especially on Redacted, where it's basically like a 6-round pick here, and like that's a no brainer for the price and what his projection is. Like it makes total sense.
And I do like it here, like getting it with Love, right? Like the Wicks is a one-off because the Wicks stuff. You look at how many times they threw last week. What was it? 54 times. And Wicks had 13 targets. Like,
yeah,
because Wicks is still going to be, the third option, most likely. Like you do really need the good game environment, I think, for Wicks to get home. Like if it's less play volume, I just don't know how Wicks can pay off that price tag. So I do like, if you're going to pull the trigger on him, like build a game stack around it.
I agree with you. I just put my dunce cap on and said, Achan go Burr.
All right. I am going to take a tight end here, guys. I know.
Wow.
George Kittle he fell a little too far.
You should probably take one that's going to play football this weekend, no?
I mean, if he's just got a boo-boo, right? I think he's like a quintessential game time decision, right? Like I can just already see this happening, and I think the playing is, the practicing right now is mostly like a pain tolerance thing. So we'll see what happens. I'm okay with getting a swap on him, because if he does play, I think he follows the Ayuk thesis of, potential smash. It's a little too good of a spot at this price to ignore.
Friends, the BadgeBros Brawl is now live. Shout out to New Me Hope and Johnny Footballs in the chat for telling me.
Nice.
Yeah, nice little $5 copper back to back. So somebody's gotta take his.
Did
crown.
he really? Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that's impressive.
he did say in the chat earlier, I'm looking for my weekly paycheck.
Honest day's work.
I respect it.
All right. Kirk goes off the board. We got Pittman off the board. Nez in the lab here for his 4th round pick.
Yeah, this is a tricky spot. I think I'm eyeing up DeAndre Swift, just looking at these running backs. I don't think I want to have to think too hard about this position on my next turn. And like I said, Purdy's been falling. Maybe not to me in this one, because Pete's got Ayuk, but
wow,
that's an early scroll.
John is getting loose in these streets right now.
I'm feeling good today, boys. McDavid might be playing tonight. Puck was back on the tube this morning. I'm feeling good. Going to some Japanese barbecue tonight. I'm feeling nice, boys. I'm just going with the vibes here.
Clearly.
The leverage play of the week, Juwan Jennings. Most targets on the team last week.
People forget.
That is true. That is a fact.
Is Brandon Ayuk good against zone coverage or man coverage? Can you refresh my memory there, Ness?
Sorry, I'm getting a lot of noise in my earpiece, John. Sorry, I can't really hear you.
Oh, I love it. Oh, get Kobe Shorts. Kobe Shorts is hanging out when you get the Ayuk isn't good against anything.
Against
I love it so much.
Not good against nothing.
The haters pick 'em of the week is spicing up already.
I'm excited. Yeah, you're about to be on the clock here. I need to refresh my ranks, because I've got neighbors still sitting at the top of my queue with a big red out tag. I've got a lot of neighbors to swap in the 6-mans, guys. Like a lot. So we'll worry about that. But my early stance of the week though was, do the classic Monday night, see the tea leaves and load it up on Ken Walker on Monday night. He was ADP 23 when that contest opened. Obviously flew way up. It didn't last very long, but I see you took Purdy. I agree with that.
Yeah, sorry. I was
Had to.
I thought if Njoku had come back to me, I was gonna just do the Njoku and just plug my nose and head the Watson route. But then when he went, I mean, we were just talking about it with Mason and Ayuk. I think in the 12-man, I like that correlation there.
As we got some breaking baseball news. Kodai Senga game 1.
No way. Kodai's back. Wow.
That's
Shout out
nuts.
Copper. That's big news for him.
Shout out Copper's digger teams. Wow, that's a tough one.
John, we scroll on the board just a little bit. So we're
sorry. There you go. Jerry Judy going in this one too. Wow, Crash Rich doing the Tyler Huntley stuff. Let's go.
Early. He's worried.
Wow.
He said, I can't get that snipe from me.
Oh man, EDN3 going with the naked Kyler right in front of my doorstep. We got the Gino. We got the Gino here. Nez won't take Gino. All right, we gave ourselves outs at least. We got the Gino.
I'm more into appies than Genos, John.
Nice.
That's you might get that on your algorithm soon, Pete. That's a hockey reference if you didn't catch that.
I gotta get on my TikTok and get all of my hockey lingo again.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm gonna do something nasty here. I was kind of teasing. Actually, Legette's. Oh no, he's still here. Yeah, we're gonna go Dalton doubles, man.
Wow, nice.
Just slinging that shit.
Yep,
dude, I like that.
I like Legette a lot, man. I can't help it. I'm fascinated with the usage that he's getting. I think people are just still thinking that he's like Jonathan Mingo because he's a rookie. And the team is just way different with Andy Dalton, very, very clearly. Tough matchup though, but we ride.
Yeah. So John and Nez, you already got your quarterback penciled in. I don't think you have to worry about Luke Big Shot sniping you there.
I hope not.
And then John, you got a spot to play with: running back, wide receiver, or tight end.
Oh God! Thank God you have this. Oh no, you can actually see your pick here. I thought it was going to cover up your.
All right.
He has to type it in. That's how you know it's good. 12-person drafted. You have to type in the pick.
Yes.
There's two picks here. Man of my word.
I think the Tracy. Yeah, man, you love Sharps. I love Sharps, but not in this context.
I know. I can see how he gets home. I'm just not gonna do it.
Get ready to learn DNP Ken Walker Fridays.
Oh, okay.
Get ready to learn it. I bet he goes LP today again.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely see. We didn't quite talk about the Bills guys enough. They are definitely scroll the F downs, or at least Curtis Samuel and Keon are with Khalil Shakir out. Those, I mean, Keon is still on the or he was on the board. He goes 6th round here. That feels like a nice saving grace if you're at the 1-2 or you're at the 1-2 turn in the dog bowls. Get Allen and then save that last wide receiver spot for Keon. Potentially, really good for Kincaid as well. I mean, if anything's going to be good for Kincaid, for God's sakes, it better be this spot with the Shakir targets vacated. But definitely some interesting decision points to make with that.
He's got the last one here. I'm going to try and save the board real quick.
Okay, I'll
oh shoot, I hit the wrong button, but that should.
I'm still sitting on the clock. Do you got it?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't have any correlation angles. I like this spot for Likely. So I know he's not like a scroll or anything there, but I think Likely could pop up for a big game.
You got Andrews buried. You said your piece and.
Well, I was surprised. I mean, JM floated him, said he is going to have some Andrews. I just think he had mentioned him in comparison to Kelsey, and I just thought it was so it's a little different because Kelsey was on the field running routes. He just wasn't earning targets, where it's Andrews isn't even out on the field. But I do think one of these tight ends is again that same thing with the game environment with the Bengals running backs. It's like one of these tight ends, if this game goes nutty, is going to get there.
Agreed with you. Yeah, I mean, it's people were comping it to the Pitts goose egg from last week, and it's like it's apples to oranges because at least Pitts was out there. He's like the third or fourth read, but yeah. Oh, our guy Berm needs some help.
Hey, Berm, this is what we're here for. I mean, if you watch Often on the Clock, you watch the BadgeBros, you watch the video on the Deposit Kingdom channel, you will smoke these guys. You will smoke them. Sam, you just got to put in the work, buddy. Take a few hours outside of the gym for once in your goddamn life.
Yeah.
Get your head in the spreadsheets, become a virgin like us, and mop the floor with Numi and Hope. You can't let them run roughshod over all the employee contests.
I mean, like, I don't think he could complain too much because wasn't he doing some sick traveling at the start of NFL season anyways? He was in Europe or something.
He was doing the Nez itinerary. He found himself in Portugal. So yeah, I was keeping tabs on that.
Let's do a quick just audio recap of our teams and then just a little commentary on how you feel it shook out. Nez, hit us with yours.
Yeah, so my team, I went with Jaden Reed, Deontay Johnson, George Kittle in the third round, DeAndre Swift, Xavier Legette, and Andy Dalton. Definitely like a thin bet for that stack, but I think I'm going to be one of the few, if maybe the only Andy Dalton double stacker in this. I got the DeAndre Swift run back, which honestly I've been doing that like accidentally a lot lately with these run backs. I think I'm going to go ahead and call George Kittle the skeleton key on this lineup. I need him to play, and I need him to smash to really help me get home with the unique pieces around him.
Yeah, listening to your lineup, and then I'm about to share mine here. I think we know out of the three who's is going to project the best here. So mine is DK Metcalf, Trey McGronk, Devon Achane, go Burr again, and then some scrolls here to Juwan Jennings, and then Gino doubled it up with Sharps there, where Ken Walker's not 100%, and nobody else is telling you that other than me here. That is going to be Nez and I are going to be projecting for about 65 fantasy points, and then Pete's going to read his.
Oh, well, I mean, honestly, John, like you're trying to play it up like you have some fucking whack ball lineup. It's not that crazy. It's like Sharps is a little thin, and that's it. Like everything else about this lineup is fine. So stop trying to act like you're Mr. just far out vibes, man. Going to Korean barbecue tonight.
I love it.
All right. I did the Brock Purdy, Jordan Mason, Brandon Ayuk, grabbed Amari Cooper there as well. Trey Sermon with my 5th round pick, and then Isaiah Likely with my 6th round. So just San Francisco and then some one-off pieces there. Guys, I think it's time to spice them up, slop them up, give people the expanded spice core, the expanded spice core, and perhaps a pared down core. All of the pick'ems that the people need here. We've been dialed in with these. We've been hitting these. Let's get something for the people going here.
Can I make one request before we do the core this week? Can we go out of order, and can we slop it up first with a game environment? Because I want to know
dessert first. All right, let's do it.
Because I want to know.
Dessert would be the full spice bomb, right? This is more like this is dinner, and you're saying you want to go dinner, appetizer,
then appies. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm really curious what game you guys want to go to, because last week we kind of moved around, and then we all kind of settled on the dome one there. Which game environment would you guys like to go to?
There's a lot of good ones. I always kind of want to gravitate to the one, what is not like the most popular game. Like I don't want to do necessarily Bengals Ravens, because that's going to probably be priced up. Let's go to a game we think is maybe a little bit more undervalued relative to its shootout potential.
Can we go full way too early before we get Flacco, Colts, and Jags game?
Yeah, and just play it probably without the quarterbacks. I'm guessing they're not giving us stuff with the QBs.
This is going to be hard, just because we have no Colts yardage projections at all.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But
if you
want to get early here, I just want to say Josh Downs touchdown at 2.25x. That would be my touchdown mega spice.
Okay, let's save it for the spice then. Let's use that in the spice then. Let's pick a different game environment there.
So, yeah, let's So I think, Green Bay and Rams, I think there's some value on the Rams side that I like. The other game that could be undervalued could be that Las Vegas Denver game, honestly. The Jeff Ulrich over at Fantasy Life always does his pick 'em right up. He's really dialed in with his stuff, and he had some Javante stuff. We like the Sutton angle. He had some lowers on Minshew. I guess that's not as fun as far as
Yeah, we're gonna do lower
an overs.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll throw my hat in the ring for Cleveland, Washington. I
Okay.
know that Washington is going to be a little tough to project because Cleveland is a somewhat of a tough matchup defensively, but I think that we can, if we just say Cleveland does their part and pushes Washington, then we don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried because of the Brian Robinson looming one there and what they're going to do at wide receiver 2 without Noah Brown. Like Noah Brown basically took that role last week. So maybe we can give some of that to Ertz or Luke McCaffrey, but the Washington side of the ball is really hard there. Like, what are they even going to do with running back? Like, Jeremy McNichols showed enough to matter, did he not?
Let's do Green Bay and Rams. I feel like this is a game I'm not going to get
bit safer.
A ton in the 6 persons just because of all that ownership. Where it's like Tucker Kraft in the 6 mans, I'm like, but then I see him at like 38.5 or 3.5 receptions without Luke Musgrave potentially, and I'm like, that looks really nice to me. Like, I'd rather even almost play the high floor for Tucker Kraft than the ceiling stuff.
Yeah, I'm into this game environment more.
And there's fun stuff with the Rams too, right? Like one of them that I featured in the Deposit Kingdom video, a little spoiler, some Colby Parkinson, although it is juice now lower there, the receptions, but Tutu, Whittington, like all of these guys, I think are in play.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is definitely, this is the spot to be for sure. Oh man, do we want to throw? Is it time to put a kicker in a pick'em? I mean, it's been a long time. Dawg for 2.5 extra points made. They're scoring 3 touchdowns on the Rams,
like that,
right? Like, come on,
dude. The Dawg, I like that.
I think that's a very, very fun way to play the Packers. It might limit, like if we do a touchdown, they might not like the duo, but look, we're already fine. We didn't even get a dock for that. It's perfect.
Yeah, because we got a yardage one thus far, but yeah, we'll see how it plays if we add a touchdown.
I think the tough part of what we're about to do here, and we are going to stick to this game, I like this game, is like, how do we play the Rams?
Is there not Whittington? Am I not seeing Whittington in the lobby? Oh, there he is. He just didn't have a photo.
Yeah, nice. he's got the they don't do the silhouette anymore. It's like the little cartoon.
That's how
I like Whittington receptions, either Whittington or Parkinson receptions.
Receptions for Whittington I really like.
Yeah.
They made I don't know if it was just a matchup, but a concentrated effort to get him the football last week. And he has and I believe this is per Fantasy Points ass metric, that he has a really strong separation score. So I think, that just kind of, to me, equals like targets galore.
I just want to say, if you had tickets on Emo Cowboy Tyler to be the first person to buy the Assmetric t-shirts from Fantasy Points, those do cash at minus 10,000.
Nice. I made $1.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to take those small wins, even if the odds aren't paying out that much.
That's funny.
I mean, I would be fine like doing just Love and Reed. I mean, when you look at Reed's receiving numbers relative to Dobbs and Wicks, it doesn't seem like enough. I just think Reed is just such a monster. In both kind of the Love and Reed stuff seems a little light. Obviously, the way this goes south is if like it's a Jacobs game, their defense gets a pick 6, whatever. Mm-hmm. But if the Rams are able to hang in there at all, I don't know. Don't you think this Reed number feels a little light for just what a baller he is?
Yeah, it's 63.5.
I see 65.
65.5.
Yeah, no, I like it. I mean, I don't think you need. This is one of those pick'ems where like you know when you think you like a player and the number is like conspicuously small. Like, why is it not higher? And then you kind of talk yourself off of it because you feel like you're missing something. This is not, I mean, sort of the case with Jaden Reed, except like you just got to hit the higher because Jaden Reed is a baller, and it's going to be like, why didn't I just play the Jaden Reed hires against the Rams? Because this dude fucking rocks. And they're missing all these other pass catchers.
You want me to blow your mind here too? That one we're going to have to put into our core one. What do you, don't look, just, we got Jaden Reed, the new version of Debo. What do you think Debo's receiving yards is this week?
Just based on the way that you said that, I'll say like 58.
I was going to say 52.5.
Wow, you guys, wisdom of the crowds over here, 55.5.
Is that a little middling on that?
Yeah.
It's called ADP, boys.
Okay, are we going to do we like Love with Reed?
I do like
for
Love.
A fifth one.
I do like Love.
Okay. Okay, I want to see what this looks like if you change to touchdowns for Reed versus change to, is Love just passing yards and we do, because we're playing all the yardage here?
That's what I would think.
I think so.
That gets
the other
us
thing
an
you could do,
0.7. You may as well leave Love off.
That gave us a 0.7.
It gave us 0.7.
How about this one? I got one.
No.
What do you think with Reed's big play and just Love uncorking deep balls? If you go longest reception, it's an 18x there with Reed.
Okay, so you change, you tack on Love. Wait.
You do Love longest completion. Sorry, I said reception. Completion 39.5. And then you go from 11 to 18 as opposed to playing the yards, where it's like, if Jordan Love's getting there on the yards, I mean, I don't know. They had so many big plays last week.
What's locked here? What do you have in here?
What do you have locked, John? I have.
Oh, you can't do reception. Okay,
so
play Reed receiving yards, and then we'll do Jordan Love longest completion. I agree with the thesis that you're laying down here, Pete. Like, Jordan Love is uncorking deep balls all the time. That's literally his whole game. He's not dinking and dunking. He's just like throwing off his back foot and like hitting home runs. So I like that.
What do you think, John?
Yeah,
Are you worried the game script doesn't call for a 39.5-yard reception?
More or less, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of like when we talked about the golf passing attempts one on Monday there, where it's kind of like, if these guys do hit this, I guess you just pray that it's to each other.
It is a pretty crazy swing, like that 11x on the passing yards to 18x on that, and to have this still, it's still all moving in the same direction too, with the correlations. Like, big plays mean more touchdowns, mean the extra points are easier. Craft if Musgrave's out. If you have a different angle to Love, I'm open to it though.
Yeah, it just stinks that we can't really. It doesn't make sense to do him and Reed. On the Rams side, we do have Whittington, George Kittle at practice. Let's fucking go.
We could also play, if we want to play the trailing script. If you wanted to take Love out, you could do Parkinson higher than 3.5 receptions. That's one of my favorites. We just play that dink and dunk pass game, and that's still an 18.2x there.
You know what? I like that more.
I think so too. I think that's fine. I'm cool with your with what you're thinking there, John. So, Pat, 3.5 for Colby.
3.5 it is. It's a 0.91, but it's still, so we're just shy of the 20x, but a decent amount of. I think this is still all correlated how we want it to be.
Okay, and now we just need one more play here.
I think we have 5.
That's 5. So we got the Underdog for the 2.5. No concern. Hey, expert kicker analysis, Nez. No concern that the Underdog has not been great recently and missed a couple extra points.
No, they're in a dome, dude. He's gonna crush.
Good. Yeah, the model is in the dome.
The only concern is a guy like Underdog in LA the night before, hitting the club, the ladies throwing themselves at the Underdog. You just hope he doesn't bite from the devil's apple a little too much.
The guy's going to the Rose that night. Oh shoot! Look out!
God. He's gonna be all of a sudden a game time decision with the stomach bug. Underdog. What's going on, man? I smacked it, boys. I love it.
All right.
Let's go.
Okay,
it's smacked.
Let's do it.
Okay. we got our game stack. Green Bay, Los Angeles. Let's go to some of the core. Let's build out a core. Maybe like a little right from the gut. Should we go to it seems like we're all in on Christian Kirk. Do we want to get him in here?
Let's peruse. I haven't looked at his pick'ems.
53.5. They don't have a reception number.
I like it, man.
He has 79 against Buffalo, 61 against Houston.
Do we have Evan Ingram? I think Evan Ingram's the biggest wild card in all the Christian Kirk stuff. Do we have anything on Ingram's practice today?
Not yet.
It was.
I didn't think we did.
Let me see. I thought I saw another limited. And the report was game time decision.
Okay.
So
I think 53.5 is fine.
Yeah.
Regardless. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My core suggestion would be Amari Cooper receiving yards. It's 52.5. They throw so much in Cleveland. And this is seemingly like a great spot, right? I'm not ready to like think that the Commanders are a good defense because they shut down, quote unquote, shut down the Cardinals here. I like this for Amari.
Yep.
John, do you want to round us out with a core play?
I might be deferring this week, boys. I'm looking through some of this stuff right now. Let me go back to just the NFL stuff. Let's look at the Trey stuff because obviously I think Trey's king right now, and I don't think we get Fred Warner.
4.5 reception, 0.88 x, 46.5 receiving yards.
I mean, like I wouldn't want to play the 0.88, but I like the Trey stuff. If we get, I mean, I don't think we're getting Fred Warner.
How about we put we should put Trey Tutty in the spice bomb. Yeah.
Okay.
1.73. We always hit that.
So no Trey for the core.
I'm open to it, John. If you have one of those numbers you like.
I mean, I was looking at the yardage one. I also like the DK one, but it's 64.5. I was thinking about Jackson Smith and Jigba as well.
I mean, the Debo 55.5 too. Like I do really like that.
Okay. It'll be a nice hedge against my bags this week.
You're fading him?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the core, we need consensus on the core.
No. I'm fine with it. I'm not like hard fading him. I just don't have him like wide receiver one like ETR does. And if people are going to treat him as such, I'll just take Chase.
All right. So this is a classic 6X. Do we want to just lock in this core here?
Yeah, I'm going to see what we got for the boost tobers right now. Looks like some W.
It's just
W.
Yeah. Just discounts.
All right. Just the dub today. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just evergreen reminder to everyone, like got to utilize some of those last night for the Thursday night football stuff there. But Boostober, man, they're dropping boosts every single day for this pick'em stuff. So keep checking back.
Yeah. Take advantage of those. Let's see here. All right. I'll lock in this core. Do we want to do any expanded thing on it? Like with the quarterbacks, like with a Purdy, Watson, or Lawrence to get it to 5?
Okay.
Or let it, that's just an option. I don't know how much we gain as far as the correlation.
Let's try and we'll see what happens here. So we got the Debo, we got the Kirk, we got
Amari.
The Cooper.
Yep. And then if we were going to tack on, I think Purdy's a fun tack on.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think Lawrence makes sense too, John.
Is that Deshaun number still like 200?
It was. I don't know if it
210.
is. That went up 10 yards. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other way to play these guys would be like what Watson has the 1.5 passing TDs at 1.35. What's Lawrence? Lawrence is 1.5 passing TDs at 1.05. So you'd probably just go yards with Lawrence. Like if you did yards with Lawrence and then Watson 2 passing TDs, that gets you close to a 20x and then pretty correlated.
We could do it with the Purdy ones too. You do the Deshaun 2 touchdowns. You do the Purdy one, and we get 19. Do you guys like Lawrence or Purdy more? So Purdy's at that 259.5, and Lawrence is at 241.5.
Probably Purdy.
I think I like Purdy.
Yeah, definitely safer.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's easily been over this number past 3 weeks in tougher spots.
Respect it.
Yeah, I'm ready for the Purdy smash game.
Wow, they just are refreshing the Amari before I could get it in.
Oh no, Noomi, Berman.
Oh, this I can't do another Bucky situation.
Yeah.
No,
we're gonna have to fire up an OG tilt space on Sunday afternoon just for Pete to get his extra half yard out.
Yeah, it's off right now. I'll grab it in a second. All right, let's build Spice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Trey McGronk.
Let's go.
Remember the good old days when we used to get like 5x for that last year? Now the world's caught up to him being the best tight end in football.
Nez, you're the Tutty whisperer. Who's it gonna be?
I like Brian Thomas for the Tutty.
Good one.
It's like 1.4x, really strong multiplier on that for like how good he's looked. And I will throw my hat in the ring for any mobile users following along. Slide that up to 1.5x. I mean, if 1.5 tutties, if you do that with Brian Thomas, you're going to get a fat multiplier of 8.6x. I mean, I've seen crazier things for 8-to-1 multipliers on Pick'em. So that has my endorsement, but for the sake of the show, we'll take the 1 touchdown for Brian Thomas.
Okay. I one thing we didn't talk about when we were talking about that Jag stuff and you were talking about Kirk and stuff is just that the Colts have been so bad against perimeter wide receivers. So like if you want to get funky with the scroll the F down to like Gabe Davis, or if you just want to be like, yo, Brian Thomas is that dude and playing the X, like the way that teams have been beating the Colts is perimeter wide receivers, which bodes, a little bit better for Brian Thomas, but not to say that both can't get home.
I think we should, some of those buy low wide receivers we were talking about. We talked about Amari already, but Sutton, Higgins. We should see what the Tyreek number is too. Like if they're giving us something fat there.
Okay, yeah, that's a good number to look at. Sorry, I got mentally caught up here looking at the Colts stuff here.
Who's?
Tyreek's.
Yeah.
1.59.
Yeah. That's gas it up. Gas it up. Yo, I'm gonna lock button this one to start.
Dude, how crazy is that? That Tyreek Hill and Sutton's, I believe, are the exact same touchdown Spice.
Wow. People forget that. Huntley was Pro Bowler or what?
I guess I forget sometimes watching.
That thesis fell flat on its face for me in the primetime Palooza, so now I've just completely written him off.
Did Kittle actually just get hurt in practice?
I don't know. Look at this dude's Abby. Can we trust it?
I don't know. He's got no reason to lie to us.
I don't see anything on my feed.
Released to Tim Boyle.
Yeah.
If in the latest search bar here, I don't see anything about George Kittle. Lord, stay my hand. I'm about to give you the ban hammer, brother. That's
hit him.
Maybe a little timeout. I can't. We're on your StreamYard. All right, we doing expanded here?
No, you can. Hey, trust me. I don't know if you saw the Shipcast. I'm very pro timeout right now. Some are saying I'm going through my timeout era.
Sending a message out here. Okay, we got Brian Thomas, we got Trey McGronk, and we got Tyreek Hill there. I locked it in as 3 and put it in the chat there. Do we want to start fresh or add 2 more to this?
I think we add. This is what we call in the business the Spice Core, but the people have grown to demand an expanded Spice Core.
Man,
we're about to get Thai spicy.
Dude, you had.
I like Downs, man. I want to.
Oh yeah, that was. You did mention Downs. We got to put that in.
Yeah, because I honestly, man, I think if we get Flacco in for certain, I feel like this is gonna lose its multiplier a little bit.
All
I don't
right,
know.
dude.
Maybe I'm just
Let's do Downs and Sutton for a 250 Xer.
fuck me. Oh my god. Let me put this in reverse order. So Downs is the largest. I want to make sure that I'm not like bleeding too much here. And then we said Sutton for a touchdown.
50 USD gets your boy 12K, 12 and a half.
Who says no?
Who says no? Not me. Oh, not me, bro.
Dude,
Okay,
did
so
I just get?
Let's pay for the season.
They're only letting me do $12 on this one, but it still pays out 3,000.
They're only letting
you're a champion state, so they have to be careful how much they're taking out of the pool.
Yeah.
Oh, that checks out. Good point. Good point, Hez.
Those champions, man. Oh my god. Yeah, the spice limit gets reached with McGronk. Oh my god. I could put down 400 and could you imagine?
Buy a new house? What does it pay out, Des?
400 for what?
100 racks?
Nice. Let's go.
I
can't. Kidding me? Get a down payment one time.
Dude.
Oh my god. If I could do 40 for 10, like
that's a down payment on a yacht, dude. Like
I'll buy everybody in the chat a yacht with that.
Dude, imagine just Nez just autoing 150 dog bowls after he ships that.
I'm not even in the lobbies with you guys anymore, you peasants. Take my ranks.
For the people who missed out on the expanded core, the Amari is back in the lobby. What did we go with? We did Watson passing TDs and Purdy yards.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That was the expanded.
Yeah. All right. All right, boys. Anything else here? I think we hit our stack. We got our core. We got our expanded core. We got our spice core. We got our expanded spice core. If you guys are watching on either BadgeBros or my channel, we'll both drop links to these pick'ems in the comments or in the show description. And make sure you guys are subscribed. We do simulcast this on both of our channels, but you need to be subscribed in both places. What else do you guys got going on the BadgeBros channel this week? Nez, are we getting a no strip stream?
I think so. I think we're gonna go for the three-peat, go for the late night draft stream. Mostly dog bowls. We'll see. It'll be I'll listen to the chat and maybe dabble in some other stuff, but mostly dog bowls tonight. Behind the paywall. So if you're not a member, go ahead and join up. $5 a month. Help support John and I and our dogs. We really appreciate that. But yeah, that's on tap tonight.
Love it. I tapped in a little bit last week, and we'll be hopefully can tune in a little bit this week as well. John, what about you?
No, I'm just gonna go enjoy myself this weekend. I think get some action down on these games and have a little fun, and then we'll do Winter Circle on Monday there. If you guys are looking to get in the hoop streets, we did a hoop stream with Mike Zakarian there, double dribble one on Wednesday. The puck stream we did as well, but that has now since closed, so not going to be of much use to people. But go back in time there. I think Tuesdays or I guess Wednesday mornings stream also for Battle Royales. I think it holds true still now. Not a ton has changed the slate yet, so we'll see.
Awesome. And for me, I'm going to go post that video right now on the Deposit Kingdom channel. My gems last week, it had Jaden Reed. We'll see if we can keep the magic rolling. Also did another little kind of recap of my team, recap the winner of the Deposit Kingdom tournament, Goat Hop Grower there from last week. So
OG.
All of that and hop in. What's that, John?
He's OG on the site.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a sick. I did accidentally needle him a little bit because it was such an absurdly high score for a small tournament that I went and looked for him, and it would have finished that team top 10 in the big BR. That's how big of a score he put up there. But yeah, hop in the Deposit Kingdom. Like I said, you guys saw we got 2K up top here playing with the big boys there with that prize pool. Guessing it'll still feel by sometime tomorrow afternoon at the latest would be my guess, even with the added entries. That's the 3 max. And yeah, have a good weekend, guys. And we'll post the pick'ems down below, and we'll see you guys next time on Off and On the Clock. For Nez and John.